Hello, this is Lee Anthony Davis here on my YouTube channel with another announcement video. It's Wednesday, the 11th of October. A warm welcome. This is where I do my announcements on Group of the Day, Contribute of the Day, Birthday Announcements, Updates, Doctor Who News, show my Doctor Who DVD collection, which I'll be doing Series 6. Also, the Doctor Who quiz question and the answer from yesterday's question. Also, your comments and what's coming up. Right, okay then, just before I start, like I say, thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I appreciate it very much. It's you that counts, not me. Without you, this channel would be nothing anyway, would it? I try to put something good on there, you know. I know these videos can be boring. I know that they're, you know, pointless to some people, but I just enjoy doing them anyway. I'll do it for, if there was, no, well, probably nobody's watching them, so I'm doing them anyway. I like doing them. You know, not because I like the sound of my own voice. I never watch my videos when I've done them, I'm telling you. I just forget about them, but I just like doing this, you know, and it's good to let people know who you are as well, instead of hiding behind an insignia or whatever. That's one of the reasons why I do it. I want people to know who I am. I don't want to hide, because I'm on Facebook. I do a lot of videos on there as well. I do a lot of groups. I used to, but I've got some new groups out. One that I'll tell you about later that is already ongoing now. Just to tell you about why I'm doing this video, because I've been doing them too long. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to shorten them. My yesterday's announcement went well. I got it under 20 minutes. So I finished on the time of 19:36. I'm hoping to get to 19 minutes this time. That means stop going through a lot of detail with so many things and waffling on as usual. Right, let's get on with it. Right, here we go. Group of the day for Tuesday the 12th of October goes to Only Fools and Horses. And contributor of the day for Tuesday the 10th of October goes to Nev Fountain. Congratulations to them. They'll be posted on Twitter, Facebook, My Story and Instagram. Right, okay, moving on. Birthdays today. There's quite a few here, so I'll go through the list very quickly. Celebrating their birthdays today on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, wherever, or you might know them or not. Here they go. Johnny Baines, Ian Williams, who's celebrating his 66th birthday. Congratulations to him. Shelley Later, Manuel L. Zavaleta, Jordan Makeup, James Irwin, Kurt Scheidel, and Michael Rage are all celebrating their birthdays today. Congratulations to them. Right, moving on. As you can see, I'm not hanging around. I'm getting on with it. Doctor Who news. This is to do with the 60th anniversary. This is to do with a documentary with new interviews to air on radio and BBC Sounds. You probably know about it, but I'm telling you anyway. They include interviews with Stephen Moffat, Chris Chibnall and Russell T Davies, and there's also archive interviews with Capaldi, Troughton and David Tennant. And remember, it's a two-part documentary, so this is the first part with this material in. They're going to also be talking on themes that changed the show, the sexual revolution that was going on at the time in the 60s. Also, politics played a big part in Doctor Who, obviously. And then you had Mary Whitehouse. Whoa. And then and then you had all the problems that went with the show, you know, like the hiatus, and we're going through every detail. It's on radio. I'll give you the date in a second. Also, to tell you, tomorrow I'll tell you about the second part and who's going to be interviewed and what other stuff is coming up. But this is going out, obviously, on... Let's see. Sorry, I forgot to tell you who's hosting it. Jo Whiley. Jo Whiley, as you know, is a host, a compere, a presenter, TV presenter. She used to do Top of the Pops, remember, with Carol Keating, and I forgot the other one. She was a Geordie. But anyway, they used to do it together, all three of them, and I think it was in 1995. She also appeared on this music show, which music is what her forte is, but she's also a Doctor Who fan. And they did a Doctor Who special, and it was, I think it was 2008 or 9, 2009 I think it was. David Tennant was presenting it. Jo Whiley was one of the panellists, along with Catherine Tate, Bernard Cribbins, and they had all these walk-ons from old monsters like the Ood and A Dalek, I think, was in it as well. I can't remember. And I remember there was a bit of banter between Tate and Wiley, and Wiley turned around to Tate after, you know, they crossed purposes in a fun way. She says, "I could have played a better Doctor Who assistant than you did." She says that. She said it to her. She just came out of it because I think they were sort of trying to score points against each other rather than play the game itself. David Tennant was in the middle of it. He had to keep law and order, as they say. But anyway, Bernard Cribbins was in that, but that's where Jo Whiley was on. So she's an avid fan, but she was really passionate about she should have been the assistant, not Catherine Tate. Right, okay then. This is going to appear on Friday the 21st of October. I've already given the time. I think it starts at 7 p.m. I'm not too sure, but I'll let you know. And as I said, it's hosted by Jo Whiley. So anyway, the second part, I'll tell you. Well, it's going to be screened. The second part will be screened later, or shall I say, be broadcast later in the year. I think you can. I think they've got a video camera to record it live as well, and actually put it on BBC iPlayer. But I don't know. But yeah, I think that's how it's going to be done. You might correct me on that. You probably know details. Somebody actually pointed it out. I can't remember his name. I think it was SK. Actually said it was all being done. It's all ready to go. It's just the BBC sort of making sure that they've got something to you know, how can you put it? They sort of think they've got something special that you're going to be surprised with, but it's already been done. I've been pointed out. Okay, I'm not going to go on anymore. You know what it's all about. It's the documentary. It's the radio. It's to do with the 60th anniversary, and it's going out on the 21st, Friday, this month. Right, so I'll tell you a bit more details of the second part because it's a two-parter. Right, okay then, that's the end of that. Right, updates. My Sarah Jane page, which is out now, the Lee Anthony Davis and Sarah Jane Adventures page, has now reached 5 followers, so that's fantastic. I know it's not a lot to you, but to me it's everything. It means that somebody likes it, but I'm sure it's going to get more coming along as the end of the week gets close, because it happened with my other page, the Lee Anthony Davis the Doctor Who page. It took time, but then suddenly I had a burst of a lot of people wanting to join it. Also, well, that's 5 followers, so thank you very much to every one of them. The other one is the Lee Anthony Davis and Sarah Jane Adventures group. Now I have 4 members. Yesterday I had 3, now I've got 4. So thank you very much. And my Instagram account has gone up to 1, so I've got 1 more follower. So that means I've got 111 followers. Brilliant. Thank you very much. I'll give you another update tomorrow. Right, coming up, my DVD collection. Here we go. This is my selection today, Series 6, Matt Smith. I'm not going to go into it, all right, because yesterday it took too long to go through reviewing it and all that rubbish. So I'm just going to go through it quickly. The Christmas Carol, that featured a sort of take on the actual Christmas Carol. That's Stephen Moffat again, you know, doing something that doesn't work. It's, you know, because it was Christmas. He always did that, didn't he? You know, like he always put in Christmas trees, snow and stuff like that. But people want to see a science fiction adventure. I can see why Chibnall didn't want to do Christmas specials, you know, because it's been done every time. So he decided to do it on New Year's Day. And I think that's the best time to show it, actually, because there's a lot of people recovering and they get sick and tired of drinks, so that's the best time to show it. This had Michael Brandon. Is it Michael Brandon? I can't remember. Bad with names, but you know what I mean. This basically is a story where I don't know, where sharks and fish and stuff. It was a strange story, wasn't it? But it did have the feel of a Christmas Carol, where he played this well-established actor. I can't think of his name. He's been in so much stuff, but it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, I'm not going to go in reviews or anything, but he basically was a Scrooge in this, and it was down to him that Catherine Jenkins, that's it, Catherine. She was actually known for singing. I think she's an opera singer or whatever, and she was bloody good in it, you know, as an actress. She's a presenter as well, but she's Welsh, obviously, and she was in this, and she was pretty good. And I think as a Christmas special go, it wasn't the best, but it's certainly watchable, wasn't it? But I can't think of his name at the moment. But anyway, oh yeah, this is about the honeymoon, and Matt Smith has got very little time to convince him to change his ways so they can bring the ship down, because something to do with he controls something that I think, oh, that's right, it was drawing them into the planet to crash, wasn't it? And the Doctor had little time to change his mind from doing that because he'd been hurt as a little boy or something like that. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, that's enough of that. I'll promise I'll try and think of it as I'm going along. Right, moving on. This is the Impossible Astronaut. This is about River Song assassinating the Doctor, as you know, and this is the introduction of the silence. Not really much to go on. We heard the little girl is actually River Song. At the end of it, she regenerates into this. I don't know the actress's name, but she appeared in Let's Kill Hitler and all that rubbish. But yeah, it's all right as a sort of start. Oh yeah, I remember this well. This is when Elizabeth Sladen passed away. Yeah, around that time as well. This was 2011. I remember it very clear. That's why I mentioned this one actually. Yeah, and they put a dedication to Elizabeth Sladen at the end of the credits, so that was very nice of them, wasn't it? Day of the Moon. That's the finale of this two-parter. It's not really. You don't really learn much, really. You just learn that this little girl regenerates, and you ask yourself, "Oh, is she a Time Lord as well?" Yeah, I'm sure. And we learn that by this time, Amy Pond had disappeared. So the Amy Pond that we thought was no longer there. She was a double, and she'd been a double apparently to Moffat's sort of writing from the start. You know, she'd been kidnapped or by this silence, and I think it happened when they were investigating at this spooky house or whatever. That's when she disappeared, and she came, and it just didn't make sense, didn't it? They don't explain things, you know. It sort of just comes in at you. But that was the gist of it. Anyway, she'd been taken, and I think, and she was obviously pregnant, and that's what this was all about. I don't know why Moffat would go down that bloody tunnel, but he did. I don't personally think it was a good idea to bring in, you know, that sort of thing into the show. It's just the sort of thing you find in EastEnders, isn't it? Anyway, he did it. To me, it didn't work. I didn't like it. And I thought, you know, what's the married couple? It was always about the married couple, wasn't it, Rory and whatever, more than it took you away from the moment a little bit. But never mind, I'm not going to go into all that. What was his name? I'm just going to try and think. As I'm going along, I will find out what his name is. But anyway, moving on to the next one. This was pretty poor. It was called The Curse of the Black Spot. This is a pirate adventure. I didn't find it any good. It was basically an animated nurse or whatever. It was a spaceship that crashed, and this animated nurse took all these people, made them sick. They weren't sick. They were just she took them, put them in his spaceship, and healed them or something, or they were dying or something. I don't know. It was to me, it was a load of nonsense from Moffat, really. I didn't like it. The Doctor's wife was all right. I thought the actress that played the so-called TARDIS was all right. She'd also been appeared in Elizabeth Sladen's show, the Sarah Jane Adventures group, obviously Sarah Jane Adventures. Called what was it called? The Mona Lisa's Revenge. That's it. She's pretty good in that. She was also in Coronation Street, as you know. Right, but that was all right as the stories go. It was basically to get rid of the house, this entity that came upon us, came upon the TARDIS and took it over, but got completely swamped by the actual Ultron energy that killed it, or should I say engulfed it, because this was about this creature killing all the Time Lords, and the Doctor says, "Fear me, I've killed them all." You know, I don't know. But he didn't, though, did he? Because the Master's still out there. Right, here we go. A good man goes to war. Oh, the Almost People, the Rebel Flesh. I just missed them too, but I haven't missed them. This is basically, I don't know. This is Imitation People. It was very, it's very good how they did it. But to be honest with you, I just don't think it worked. I don't think it worked very well because it's very hard to sort of get round an artificial person trying to pretend to be somebody's dad. And he's, I know it was all about imitating and mirroring and stuff with these creatures, but they weren't even human, were they? They were just sort of, I just felt a little bit sort of taken back by it. It was a little bit, he went too deep with this, in my opinion. We didn't really find out what really where these creatures came from. Well, we did. They were made, weren't they, from this machine or whatever. But it was a planet, and it was made of everything had acid round it. Oh, I don't know. And actually, it was a bath of acid, wasn't it, or something? And they were ditching all these parts, something like that. So anyway, that's a Rebel Flesh. The second part was obviously the Almost People. And then we have, moving on, this is where we find out who River Song is. She's basically Amy Pond's daughter, and she's been turned into a weapon to kill the Doctor. Apparently, this is a different timeline. As we discover at the end of it, it isn't actually happened. So all this was nonsense again. It's like the reset with Moffat in the first series. Got to the end of it all, and then it was all reset, and the universe was okay, and then nothing blown up. It was just sort of like that Bobby Ewing moment, when he comes out the shower, he's meant to be dead, and then suddenly she's dreaming about it. So that's when it starts to fall apart, in my opinion. Anyway, now this is where it gets ludicrous. Let's kill bloody Hitler. I mean, what's all that about? I'm not even going to go there. Move on to Night Terrors. Same thing about a young lad who's actually an alien boy or whatever, and the father has to show his love, and he has to protect him from these terrors that this little alien boy is creating. Oh, it becomes a bit convoluted. And then we move on to The Girl Who Waited. All right, I suppose, but it's the predictability because she was waiting at the beginning, and then we see her as Amy Pond again. The God Complex. That was more of a Nemon story. Remember the Nemon story? Yeah. And moving on to the final two. Well, closing time is a Cyberman story. It was rubbish. The Wedding of River Song, that was basically the Doctor and River actually marrying, so it's his wife or something. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that. That's the end of that, all right? So that's Series 6. I didn't really like Series 6, I'll be honest with you. I think that's when it started to dip a bit in ratings. Anyway, less said, the better. Moving on to Series 7 tomorrow. Right, moving on from this, we've got a Doctor Who quiz question. The answer from yesterday's quiz question is, which adventure did Fraser Hines make his debut as Jamie McCrimmon? The answer is The Highlanders. And now a new question for you. Who was the voice of Boss in The Green Death? Who was the voice of Boss? That supercomputer in The Green Death. That's it. Right, now your comments. Here we go. I've got 3 comments to read out quickly. I've still got the time. Let's go there, there, and here we go. Right, this one's from Thomas. This is to do with Lost in Space. It certainly doesn't bother Smith being a coward. He has very little shame. That's true. And finally, I'll just read this one out quickly. When the tough gets going, Smith is gone. Can't wait to see these in colour. Yes, colour is coming up very shortly on this. Maybe in the next episode. Right, I've got to go. Lost in Space will be following up here along with Doctor Who excerpt. Thank you for watching. I've just done it. Bye for now.